Hi, my name is Jasmine Penter. I'm a counselor and life coach at Ignite with a master's in social work. This week I'm going to be talking about how to support family members after a suicide attempt. How you might be feeling as a family member can be a range of emotions, and you could feel many parts of these feelings as well as going back and forth between them. Can be a really confusing time. One part of you may have been expecting it, but another part of you may be thinking you couldn't believe that your family member may have done something or could do something like this. There'll be feelings of sadness and anguish. You could definitely feel betrayed. You love this person with all your heart, and you would never want them to not be in your life. You could be feeling shamed. This can be embarrassing because there's stigma attached to folks that have attempted suicide. Along with that shame, you may feel embarrassed, helpless, hopeless, numb. You could be feeling really tired, weary, like you yourself are having a hard time getting through each day. You have probably a heightened sense of fear, like, will this happen again? How is this going to affect other family members, your friends, coworkers, people in your community that you've relied on? You may feel guilty because you may feel like there's something else you could have done. Maybe you wish you hadn't said some things that had been said, as well as just extreme anger because you feel like possibly this person could have reached out for help sooner, and it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. How you might be coping, you might kind of rely on work more, trying to busy yourself with other things, which is kind of a form of possibly denying how you're really feeling, and or could also just be trying to get through each day by focusing on things outside of this traumatic event. You could be acting as if nothing happened, kind of shielding yourself from those feelings, hoping that this person will pull through and that they're not going to do that again, and so it's better just keep on going on. You could also be feeling hypervigilant, like overly worried about this person, so you might be checking, are they taking their medications, if those have been prescribed, are they threatening suicide continually, are they behaving in ways that you feel like are negatively impacting their lives. You may be checking in on them more than usual, asking friends or family to do that. You could be having a hard time sleeping or getting sleep and not feeling rested, replaying that event over and over in your mind, trying to figure out what you could have done, what happened, who could have helped, what you should have seen as far as signs. And again, just that feeling of fear that this could happen again. How are things going to get better? How is it going to be different, so that this situation won't occur again? We know statistically, once a person attempts suicide, it's very possible that could happen again in their future. And we also know that it's hard on everybody involved, both that individual and all of their family members and loved ones. So I have some tips that I feel can be helpful for family members, also individuals that have attempted suicide. One is, I think, one of the most important, which is to try your best to be compassionate with yourself. We're human. We do make mistakes. We do say things that we regret. We can ask for help, though. And if we don't give ourselves a break, this can definitely eat at our lives. It can affect our work. It can affect our sleep. It can affect how we treat our family members and those that are trying to help us. I think another important thing is self-care. We often focus on how to care for that individual after they've attempted suicide, but it's also very important to take care of ourselves through this event, because we are replaying these events as well, and we are connected to that individual because we do love them. And so self-care can be talking to a friend, reading, journaling, doing things that we normally love to do that kind of refuel us, fill that cup back up. Whether some people like, going into the woods, taking a hike, doing something physical or something creative. Those things are really important to stay connected to during this time. And there'll be times where we feel stronger and other times where we feel weak, and we may not even know when that will be coming. Someday something might just kind of trigger our memory of what had happened, and that can be really difficult. So just keeping an eye on how we're doing each day, each hour can be really important. I also think it's important to resume some sort of normalcy. So while we may be more hypervigilant, and we do need to keep an eye on things to make sure that person's getting the support they need. If we don't kind of reacclimate back into our routines to some degree, we'll keep living in that cycle of chaos, that extra heightened sense of worry, and that normalcy can help soothe ourselves getting through each day. Obviously, we need to add extra supports in there because things haven't been going well, or this event may not have happened. So we will have to learn some new routines, but meeting up with friends, doing things that we've normally done, trying to get back into that will be really important. Asking for help, and I've talked about this in a couple of my other videos as well, for job loss and self-esteem and self-doubt. But asking for support is really, really important after a family member's attempted suicide, because you can easily feel isolated, like you're the only one out there holding this huge burden over your shoulders, and you're just not sure who else would understand or could help. But people really do want to help. Often they don't know how, so we may need to be kind of assertive in asking for help, saying, could we have lunch once a month or once a week or every other week? Could you check in on me? Could bring some meals by? Could you call my loved one just to see how they're doing? Because often they'll share things with others that they won't share with their loved ones. And support can be in the form of friends, can be in the form of family, can be in the form of a spiritual support, as far as a person in the community of faith that you belong to. It can be a counselor, a support group, a National Alliance for Mentally Ill, NAMI, in other words, has lots of support groups in different chapters around the U.S., and they often will have monthly, if not weekly, groups that help both individuals that have attempted suicide and their family members. There's helplines. One suicide prevention helpline is 1-800-273-8255, and talking on the phone can really be helpful, both for yourself and for your loved one. Suicide is preventable if we ask for help soon enough. I really do believe after a suicide attempt, counseling both individually and with a family is really, really important. There's just nothing that can erase this event that's happened, and the very reality that this person could have not been in your life is quite shocking and jarring and life-changing. And I do think for family members, we often look at the individual as the person that needs help, but family members do as well, because we bear that love for them, that responsibility, and helping hold them accountable. And like I said before, we obviously need to figure out how to do things a little better so that this tragic event that has occurred hopefully won't ever occur again. But there's utilizing those counselors and individuals that are professional and know possibly what can help, and help make a plan and help build the family back, as far as figuring out new ways to do things, can be really, really important. So that's my topic for this week. It's kind of heavy, but I think it's really, really important. Suicide is really, unfortunately, common and very real. So I hope that you'll subscribe or comment or ask questions here. This is a really important topic, both for me personally and professionally. So I hope that you'll consider subscribing to this channel. Next week, I'm going to talk about how to get through post-traumatic stress disorder, and that is often linked with suicide. Both for individuals that have attempted suicide will have post-traumatic stress, and their family members, because these events do often get to the point where they start replaying in our lives and affect how we cope each day. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.